Okay, everybody, I'm going to go over to Instagram and go live there. Give me a minute. It is Wednesday, June 4th. Hang on here. There we go. Now we're going live. I think we're live. All the tech. So happy Wednesday, everybody. June, about 8:35. This is weekly time to jump on platforms and have some thoughts. So make sure the platforms are working. Give me a second here. My amazing person, Jocelyn, is hopefully watching to let me know in a text that we're good. So, okay. Oh, there's somebody there already. Okay, good. I think we're live. Okay. My microphone, how it goes. Okay, so most of you know, if you follow me or in my lane, personal. Play your bigger game well and be into the world. Hello, Grant. Jeff Grant is here. So great comments on Facebook. Okay, we're good. Just giving a context of who I am and what I'm all about. So I just want to speak to human condition moment. So a really good friend of mine let me know yesterday huge success, who they are or name it, but just like a massive, like been going for something and then whammo, was in it and got it and was in the room, right, of this amazing thing. And of course, celebrating them, wrote them a text and sent them all, and congratulations and all this stuff. And then there's this other part of me. This morning I woke up and went, you know that question that we ask ourselves, like, what did they do different, or what did they do better? What did they do that I did? And I caught myself in that ridiculous question. It is a ridiculous waste of time question. Because they're smarter, somehow they're luckier, somehow they did it better. And of course, one's self-esteem activated and animated. They're like, well, they like them better. And then you have to peel back the onion on those moments and go inside and look at, let me go backwards a little bit and say, why this post this morning is called, comparison attack day. So we all know the comparison attack moments, right? We see it, and because of social media everywhere, look at them and who knows what's real. And, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. We already all know that. But this was very real. I mean, this is the real deal. They're in the room, right? Yeah. Comparison is just a rabbit hole. We have to reframe it. Yeah, Jeff Beautiful said, which is kind of where I'm headed. But I had to give myself the moment of like, what did they do different? And why did I have that? And all that stuff, all that inner voice critic that we know the critic, we know the we know we've got language around that. But I was fascinated by my own and my brilliant human guide that I say. I told him. I have these calls with him, and one could say they're therapy calls, but they're really like training calls. He trains me in concepts of the human spirit and the human condition that are like he's more of a trainer and like a mentor than a therapist. Anyway, if I remember correctly, I get this big distinction between envy and jealousy. And envy is this, another person or something outside of me is experiencing something that I have envy towards, and I want it too. And it actually motivators. I am motivated to go create that like they did, right? And then there's jealousy, and the distinction for me, and he offered me this distinction as well, is the jealousy sort of is internal attack. I don't have together. I don't have enough. I'm not enough. It's the inner low self-esteem stuff, right? And it's demotivated. It's like, never mind, I don't have what it takes. So, right. So that's jealousy. Envy is I'm going to go backwards to the envy conversation, or go back over to the envy conversation, is like, they did it. So it's actually a motivator. It's actually inspiring. So, and I think you go to both, right? There's this just compare attack, we probably have called your jealousy attack for a moment. I was like, oh my God, what did they do? All that stuff. And I went on my morning walk. I'm kind of going through it, and then I obviously got over myself and went, oh my God, first of all, stop having it be about me and, get on the phone and call this person or send a video or send them a text and go, congratulations. Like, you've been wanting this forever. You've been throwing your hat into the ring forever, and you've reached this plateau or this, no, I shouldn't say plateau. That implies done. This level of success. Congratulations. So, of course, I, caught that pretty quick and went, okay, can we turn this into a congratulations moment for them rather than a low self-esteem moment for me? Like, oh my God, right? Jeff has beautifully. The language we use is so important. It motivate or give us anxiety? Exactly, Jeff. You know me. You've hung out with me. You're a client of mine for years. You get it. You've learned it. How I talk to myself is how I experience myself, right? So there was a talking to myself this morning. There was this. And catching it, going, okay, wait a minute, I have a job to here, acknowledge them, champion them, call them, which of course I did right away. It's like, congratulations, and then, I'm talking about it just mere minutes from this experience this morning. So now I'm looking at, okay, what am I committing to? Because if it animates and activates the question, well, from that success, who do I want to become? Who do I want to be? What is my version of that? And I think that's the question, is what is my version of that success? Because my success can't look like that. My success, my outcome can't look like that, because that's, they were going after this one thing and I'm going after this other thing, right? And so of course it begs the question all the time, who am I becoming? What am I going for? What am I doing? What am I creating, right? And that success, we can go down that rabbit hole, can be defined in 87,000 ways. It's a money success, it's a business success, it's a impact success. This content, this creative success. It had a business component. I imagine there's a pretty good remuneration around it. None of my business, that's there. But it was creativity that was accepted and received and said, yes, we want to buy your creativity. Which is, I love that for people. When people realize I have something I want to put into the world and people go, I want that, or we want that, or we've said yes to that, that is a loop of success that I think every human being deserves to have. Whether it's baking pie and you give it to your neighbor and they love it, that's creative success. So now I can feel it kind of moving over into this territory of, if I'm this morning, it's like, what does success look like for you? What does creative success look like for you, right? And I think that's the loop of, I create something, I put it to the world, and somebody or one person or a lot of people, who knows the numbers, but somebody comes along and says, you know what, we want that. And yes, we will quote unquote buy that, hire that. We deem that useful. And I think every human being wants to know inside and wants to be deemed, I am useful, I matter, I am here to offer something to the world, and it seems to matter. We all know if it matters to one person or 14 billion people, the outcome is the same. It's like it mattered to that person, right? So that reminds me. So many of you know, I used to be hung out in as a proud early adopter of the Coaches Training Institute earlier. So CTI, known as CTI, Coaches Training Institute, which is now known as Coactive Training Institute. So they train people to become executive coaches, life coaches, in that territory. Wildly successful organization, and feel very proud that I was a part of that in the early years and trained for them for, I don't know, 28 years, something like that. Why am I bringing this up? Because we had a poem, little story that we used to have us stay in the game. Because in the beginning, selling a workshop, one-off workshops was really hard, right? And it's a startup, right? It was a classic startup, small business. There were like 6 of us. and we're going to put this thing into the world, and does anybody want the thing? We don't know. But here's the story that we leaned into a lot. It was the starfish story. Some of you might know the starfish story. And it was actually on the wall inside our first offices, if I remember correctly, of the coaches training. It was printed. It's sort of like the values. You know how there's values on the wall of a system. Well, this was on the wall. Remember in the Apple Store, Steve Jobs had, here's to the crazy ones, that poem or that stanza that was on the wall. We had that in the Coaches Training Institute. Anyway, here's the story. Really briefly, the massive storm right along the coast somewhere, and lots of starfish are washed up on the shore after the storm, right? And they're on the beach, right? Out comes the sun, and right, starfish to dry out, right? And there's this little boy who's walking down the beach, and he's picking up starfishes, one at a time, and throwing them back into the ocean, right? Throwing them back into the ocean. And there's another person who comes along, an adult, who was watching this happen as they meet on the beach. This adult says to the boys, "What are you doing?" "Well, I'm taking the starfish and saving them and putting them back into the ocean." And the older guy is like, "Are you kidding me? There's thousands and thousands and thousands of starships. It doesn't really matter. That's not going to matter." And the little kid bends down up the next starfish and goes, "It's going to matter to that one." Or I think he said, "It's going to matter to this one." And he throws that one back into the ocean, right? So that's our mantra and our story that we leaned into, one person at a time, one coaching conversation at a time, one workshop at a time. And we just kept repeating that. And then all of a sudden it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we kind of know where the coaching industry is these days. So I know I started out in the comparison attack conversation and now moved way over to maybe some inspirational moment. But I think that's the thing to remember is when you're committed to something that matters to you, and you stay in the game of it, and you stay in your lane of the thing you want to do, the impact you want to have, and you see somebody outside of you have success, maybe in the same lane, at a level that's sort of like, what did they do different? And, and I think there's a lot of that going around. What did they do different? And, did they do a social media post that changed the world and all of a sudden 8,000 million followers? And right, there's that. There's the posting, there's the emails, there's the seeing people, packages in the mail, them know what you're up to. I mean, that's marketing, it's marketing. But if you could just remember the distinction as you compare yourself to others, I'm going to say as we compare ourselves to others, because I do. Because when somebody tells me, don't compare yourself to others, my brain goes to, I'm giving it my best shot. I don't know. I just am. So I caught it again this morning, and I could feel the distinction between jealousy and envy, right? Envy, sort of positive side, if you will. Like I'm envious of that, but it pulls me and inspires me, versus jealousy sort of shuts me down, and I don't think so. So play with that distinction. But of course, this is obvious, be excited for people's success. Right? Success begets success. And this is such an obvious thing, when I when I catch myself in my own stuff of like, oh God, look at them, they had this success, and what about me? I catch it and go, wait a minute, that's about me. That's my sort of narcissistic self is activated. Instead of can we just get over myself and get over there and be wildly excited for them. Right? And celebrate them and send them a card, and right, because that only enhances, and that only sends an energetic vibe into the universe. Because you guys know, if you don't know, I kind of hang out in that quantum field philosophy, that the impact we're having on the quantum field. And so when you acknowledge and celebrate, everybody wins. Everybody wins, right? So I wanted to have sort of normalized comparison this morning. Make the distinction between comparison and jealousy, and remind us to be in the land of celebration of others, whatever the success looks like. And, with my clients, my one-on-one clients, I remind them Please celebrate your wins, WNS. Celebrate your wins. And we have a way to talk to each other. Marco Polo. It's a video app where we all can talk to each other, not all at the same time, but we leave a little video. And I'm always reminding them, share your wins, because the energy when we all start to share our wins, however small they are, because that's the other thing. We start to vote like, well, that's not really a win. Why would I share that? Even if it's just a mindset shift, that's a win. Even if it's just it doesn't have to be a physical win. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I just, made $80,000 million. I sold a blah, blah, blah. It can be a mindset shift. It can be, I had a really good family call today. I had a moment with my neighbor, which was lovely. It can be anything. And because when you start to celebrate those simple, quote unquote, when we think those are small wins, they accumulate. They accumulate an energy of celebration and create an energy of celebration around you. Lots of people want to be around you. I think that's the right distance. When you accumulate a celebration energy around you, it's people around you. So then you become an attractive energy to be around. Right? So with that said, if you're listening now or you're watching later, please feel free to put in the chats, all the on all the platforms. Please put some wins in here. Just celebrate them. Just share them. Just like I had a mindset shift today. I got a new client today. Whatever it is, celebrate the win. Right. You can look at it from. Thank you, Jeff, for the language of reframing. Reframing is one of my most favorite coaching skills, the ability to reframe things. If you can really start to look at everything that's going on in your life there's learning from it, then I can turn into, well, there's a win there because I learned something from it, even if it's a quote unquote failure, right? I do a lot of events, I do a lot of classes, I do a lot of online things, I do a lot of speaking events, I do a lot of teaching and training for organizations, and just was hired to do another big corporate gig in the fall. Excited about. Why am I bringing that up? Because those are those moments when you realize you still have something to offer. Like you got something. There's a there, right? And you must celebrate that win, right? And share it, right? And don't be shy. Share the win, because I think when you share the win from an ego place, but from a ownership of, my creative expression that I put into the world, right, was received by another person or an organization. And I think I'm as I talk about that this morning, I'm thinking about that's what success really is for me, is when a creative expression is received, right, even by one person, even my neighbor, even by, when creativity that has been created is received and seen, acknowledged, and so purchased, that has the soul feel seen and heard. So there are some thoughts on this Wednesday morning comparison. Feel free to comment along the way. I do check my social media posts as best I can. This one, by the way, is going to 5 different platforms at the same time. It's a remarkable technology. I do not get a kickback in any way to name this technology, but for those of you that are in space and want to be out there more, talking to more people in an easier way, this program is called Ecamm. Ecamm, a beautiful, easy, fantastic way to talk to many platforms all at the same time. So I don't even remember how many platforms on now. I think it's 5 or 6. 2 Facebook groups. I don't need to go down the tech thing, but just know Ecamm, very, very game-changing technology. With that said, I am doing a call tomorrow, a totally free call. I do calls probably mostly twice a month to anybody who wants to attend. If you're in the personal growth space, you're a coach, trainer, you're a speaker, you're a personal development person. You're in the transformational space. You've heard that jargon, right? You're in the people business. You're in HR. You help people become their best, right? I think that's many of you if you follow me. So I'm doing a call tomorrow with the distinction between your philosophy versus your services. Your philosophy versus your services. And I'm going to kind of pull that apart, right? I think, what are our services? We provide this, we provide this, we provide this. I don't go down the rabbit hole too much. We're going to talk about it. But I offer this idea that I don't think we talk about our philosophy enough. I think we talk about our services a lot. Here are my services, right? This is how I do 4 calls a month. Those are the services. But what's the philosophy behind the services is the interesting part. I think really becomes game changing to attract and your right clients, whether that be individual, corporate, organizational, whoever you're looking to impact with your good work in the world. This is an important call to come to, because we're going to break down and really talk about the distinction between your philosophies, and I should say philosophies. You have more than one, versus your services, right? Both are needed to be discussed, but I think one grabs the conversation a lot. We love talking about our service. I think it gets a little dicier and a little more vulnerable when we talk about our philosophies, right? Because that's the place where you're revealing your beliefs. Yeah, I'm going to call right now. I'm not going to do it now. So it's tomorrow. Jocelyn, thank you for putting it into the chats. The call tomorrow is 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow, totally free call. And just so you know, you can make any offer on the call to anything in the future. Just going to do this call. Sometimes I do offer something, from it. There's nothing on the books yet. The fall remains to be seen what we're doing in the fall. Have a beautiful copy of clients right now that are in my year-long mastermind group, and we're cooking along beautifully together. And so we'll see what happens. That wants to happen in the fall. Some of you kind of know we have this model of about every fall we do something, but we're to be seen. But meanwhile, come to this tomorrow, okay? Join us for if you know me enough, you know it's going to be, it'll be inspired. Certainly have some inspiration. There'll be some fun to it. Hopefully we'll have some laughs, and we'll have some good conversations. There'll be a quick breakout. Because I like the calls to be active and dynamic versus I'm just a lecturer. So I don't want to be a lecturer. I want to be a co-creator, because you're going to have wisdom about this topic as well. See you tomorrow morning or tomorrow noon Pacific time. The links are in the chats. Go grab it. If you're on my email list, you'll be getting an email to register for it. It's a free registration. We like to registration page, just so we know how many people are coming, right? Just so I can kind of plan for the design a little bit, and I kind of know the numbers, right? All right, everybody. It's about a half an hour into this call this morning. Happy Wednesday. I will offer this to all of you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Really, whatever version of the work that you're putting into the world, whether it's one-on-one coaching or training or speaking, or you're putting some good philosophy into the world. Please don't stop. Please don't stop. I hope it touches your heart to share it. I hope it moves your heart to do it. You're going to have comparison moments. You're going to have days it feels really hard and nobody's responding, and you do it anyway. And you do it anyway. It's a calling. By the way, I just want to offer that. I can open up cams. I can feel it. When you continue to do something that feels like it's not working, that's a calling. You're called to do it, and you not do it. This is a career. There's a career. And sometimes you need to, the career isn't going well, so I'm going to shift my career. But a calling, I have to do it. So I'll leave you with that final distinction, a career versus a calling. So thank you for trusting the calling that you have been called to do. Keep doing it. Thank you for doing it, right? Whatever form it takes into the world, have at it. And hopefully we'll see you on the call. Go register your philosophy versus your services. All in service of you, by the way, attracting your perfect people. That's what the goal of this call is. All right, everybody. Click on some things here to stop this system. Give me a moment. We're going to do that.